Hello there, you nines. Welcome to your first video in this unit, Philosophy of Religion. We're going to be looking at all sorts of stuff to do with proving and disproving the existence of God. In this video, we're going to take it right back to the beginning and look at what do we actually mean by God. There are a lot of key terms in here, so make sure you're taking your notes as you go along. Remember, you can pause this video and rewind it and rewatch it as many times as you want. Okay, here we go. So our first issue is to kind of figure out, well, what is God? What do we mean by God? Because if God isn't something that's right there in front of us that we can see, how do we know what to call him? How do we know what he is? How can we say something about him? What we're going to look at now are the different terms that people have used to describe God, and also look at where those words have come from. The first word we're going to look at is omnipotent. Now, the word omnipotent refers to God being all-powerful. Not just having some sort of power, but he's got every kind of power. He has all the powers. People say that they know this because in the Bible it talks about how God created the universe, and it's going to take some sort of power, great power, to create that. And also, you may be familiar with the story of Noah's Ark, in which God flooded the entire earth due to the bad things that people did. And that was his way of showing the kind of power that he had, and therefore how serious you need to take him. To help you remember it, something that I've always used is the word potential or potent. When we say something's potent, we're saying it's quite strong. A potent chemical is something that's probably likely to do some damage. And so it means it's a powerful chemical. So use the word omni and then potent to help you remember that that means all-powerful. The second word we're going to look at is omniscient. People say that God knows everything, and the word omniscient refers to God being all-knowing. A way to help you remember that is the word science. It kind of looks like science is in the word with the "science" part, and science is all about knowledge, finding out how things work. So if you're stuck trying to remember what omniscient means, just think science is doing knowledge, and therefore God knows everything. Now we see this all over the Bible, where God talks about how he knows what's going on. He knows what people are doing. He knows people's past, present and futures. And he also decides what's going to happen to them. So omniscient tells us that God knows everything. He is all-knowing. The final omni word that you need to know is omnibenevolent, which means all-loving. Now this is a bit of a tricky one to remember. It's quite a long word, but inside of omnibenevolent you've got the word love spelt backwards, E-V-O-L. If you look, E-V-O-L. I'll work on my finger skills later on. Now we hear that God loves us all. You may have gone to a Christian primary school and sang songs about how much God loves you. Now we know that because God tells us how much he loves his creation. He made us and he was happy. He made us in his image. And he also gave us his son, Jesus. That was a gift to humanity, a way of God expressing his love for mankind. So people say that God, using this as evidence, is loving. He's a loving God. The final word you need to be aware of is eternal. Now the word eternal means never born and will never die. So what we're saying about God is that God has always existed. There was never a start point, there was never an end point. He always was and always will be. Now, in order to create something like the universe, God has to be outside of it. This is what's going to get a little bit sci-fi-ish and a little bit Doctor Who. But if you look at the circle over there, we've got a blue one that says time. Within there we've got a start and we've got an end. The world was made somehow and the world possibly will end. And within that we have all of history. God cannot exist within there, because if God exists within there, then he has to have a start point and has to have an end point. So the green circle is everything outside of time. And because it's outside of time, there isn't a start and there isn't an end. And we say that God exists out of there because he is eternal. Now, you might still be confused about it. Don't worry. A lot of people struggle with the concept of God being eternal and being outside of time. It's something that people have been debating and arguing over for thousands of years. And to be honest, philosophers still haven't cracked it. Now, in the lesson, you're going to be asked to spell those words correctly, give a definition, and also tell me a little something about them based on what I've said or what you've read on the screen. Now, people often say year 9s aren't that good a year group. They get a bit lazy. Now, I want you to prove people wrong. If you can spell those words correctly as a group and get 100%, I will give you a good load of achievement points. I think that's fair play if you can all get them right. And the only way you can do that is practice, practice and practice. However, I'm going to make you another promise that if you can spell those words correctly, give the correct definition and say something about each one, and the whole group gets 100%, I will bring in a small reward for each and every one of you. So it's over to you. Rewind the video, pause it, practice, practice, practice. Check with your friends. If you're still not sure, get in touch with me. And let's see if you can do it. Challenge on. Right, you know, we've come to the end of the video. Hopefully, having watched it several times, some of you, by now you'll know how to correctly spell the 4 key terms, and if you don't, you can practice and practice and practice. You should know what they all mean. Can you tell me what omnipotent, omniscient, omnibenevolent and eternal all mean? And can you add some further detail about them, about why people would say those words apply to God? Remember, look in that box. If you are unsure of any of these, re-watch the video, check with a friend, and as a last resort, you can come see me before the lesson. Let's see if you can take me up on my challenge and win. See you soon. Bye.